We're rolling.
Shalom,
Shalom, shalom.
And as always, we start off with by saying Kal Halal Imla, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ruach Kodash, and double honors to the great Muslim apostles as well. You know, for any new brothers, when we say Kal Halal Imla,
You notice the sun come out again. we had some technical difficulty, but when he said that word, the name, when he opened up, the sun beamed up.
Yeah.
And we did it again, and I thought, oh, was it a one-off? The sun beamed up again.
that's the faith.
You
in
can't
Yahweh
make this
Ba'ashem,
up.
Yahushai. Cause so when we say Kal Halal Imla, that means all praises to. So we're saying our praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Certain brothers say all praises, certain other brothers say in the ancient Hebrew, but it's the same thing towards Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So, you know, just going to pass it to the brother Arya
Yeah.
to begin things.
We're going to open up with a precept. So the title of this video is prophecy, basically. Prophecy. And some examples about Trump, man. You know, Trump, he's back as Nero, as our elders and our apostles have been, you know, driving that point home.
Proverbs 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Yeah, man. So that's why we're seeing mourning, man. Oh, we talk about Trump, Keir Starmer over here. We're hearing a lot about what they're talking about the what they call it, border shutdowns. And I tapped in because I was, you know, in the back of my mind, I wanted to have an idea to do a video and a title. And I woke up with this in the back of my mind. Trump moving with reckless abandon. So I woke up about early in the morning. I went back to sleep, and then it came back into my head again. Trump moving with recklessness. First it was recklessness, Trump, and then it came together. Trump moving with reckless abandon. So when you type that in Google, sometimes that's how you can get the spirit be giving you titles, man. And then you get a title, and then you got, next thing you know, you got a whole plethora or a whole list of things that you can talk on. So Trump moving reckless abandon, and I read some of the subheadings what come up. Trump recklessness on NATO, says Defense Committee's chairman. Right, that's one. That's from the Guardian. That's a comment by chairman, one of these defense chairmen, because they're on the chairman of the war. You know, the war advisors. They're not happy with Trump. Some of the moves he's been making. Another one here, this is Bloomberg. Kurds have paid dearly for Trump's reckless withdrawal from Syria. So the Kurds have paid dearly, right? So what did I open up with? Trump, read it again, man. Read it again, just to make the point, man.
Proverbs 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
Yeah, so when Yahushua return, man, you know, that's the balance. And that could be another video, or if we say anything about that, but we know when Yahushua returns, it's going to be a total different story, man. He's going to bring that peace, because he's known as the Prince of Peace, wonderful counselor. You know what I mean? I know there's precepts going around the brother's head, but let's make the point there, Baba Kusha. Yeah. Trump moving with reckless abandon. All these people are doing what? What are they doing? Read it again.
Yes. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Right, here's some more mourning. This is now from the Senator Edwards, another mourner. Right, Senator Markey demands Trump administration abandon reckless restart of U.S. nuclear weapons. Now, if you were struggling to get a video or to come up with an idea to do a video, there's one way I did it through the spirit. I just tapped it in. You can just type in Trump.
Yes.
How people feel about him, and you know, and you're gonna get more than enough ideas. Because now we're in the time of prophecy, as our elders have been stressing, you know. So you're going to be swaying more to the talking about the times we're living in, prophecy and what's to come down the pipes.
Yes.
Another one, and then we're going to hit the one that we're going to bring it out. Senator Markey, more mourning, demands Trump administration abandon reckless restart of U.S. nuclear weapons. Right. So another one. Trump executive orders mean real damage to U.S. economy, committee, and clean energy gains. Lord willing, in the week, next week, whatever the case may be, I get around to doing some of these.
But when we talk about recklessness,
Right.
that's in favor for us because we love it when they're
Can't.
when they're reckless. Because you said a minute ago, Aria, about the nuclear missile, something like the nuclear. You know what I mean?
It's a sign of their downfall.
Sign of the downfall. You see, so it's a good thing when hey, we want destruction to come, man. We want them to be reckless, right? Whilst the balance of that is us now. The Lord doesn't want us to be to be reckless.
Yeah.
He wants to be, because I checked it up as we checked earlier, right? The other word for reckless is rash, right? And it says here in Ecclesiastes 5, be not rash with thy mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before the Lord of power. For the Lord of power is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore let your words be few. But you see, that's the balance with it. But in terms of the left hand side now, they're rash with their words.
Yeah.
They're reckless, right? And you know, Trump already just talks, anything that comes to his mind with pride, you know what I mean? But the Lord wants the opposite with us, yeah? So we want this, as brother said, we want this recklessness to happen.
Speaking of the...
Yeah.
What are we going to say?
No, because there's a quote from Donald Trump on Twitter, on one of the articles that you're talking about. This is called from Brookings.edu, and the article says here, so look, let me read the name of the article. So the article says Trump's reckless Middle East policy has brought the US, the United States, aka Babylon, to the brink of war, which means they're close to war. And see, when the brother Harb was talking about Trump's reckless words, even just Esau Edom in general, and the recklessness of their words and how they speak, this is what he said. This is what he said in quotes within Twitter, so-called X, because X is the modern day version of that. So it says, this is what Donald Trump said, by the way, targeted 52 Iranian sites representing the 52 American hostages by Iran many years ago, some at a very high level and important to Iran and the Iranian culture. And those targets and Iran itself will be hit very fast and very hard. The USA wants no more threats. So of course Trump is speaking with that pride, man. You know, thinking that Babylon is in its great, military days, or days where it could just dominate the whole earth. Which really, again, economically, they were doing it, but that's all breaking down, because we know right now we've got the BRICS with their currency, which is going to go against the dollar. But here he's talking about, Trump is talking about the military might, Babylon the Great of America. So he's speaking recklessly, not knowing that the Most High has the intention to destroy Babylon, to weaken Babylon. So that's when the nations are going to say, let the weak say I am strong. Those other weaker nations that were subject under Babylon, under America, they will then have power to then overthrow America altogether.
Yeah.
You see that?
You're in Proverbs 29.
Yeah, 29,
Jump down to 7.
Good one. We're going down to 7. Proverbs 29 verse 7. The righteous considereth the cause of the poor,
Yeah.
but
See?
the wicked regardeth not
Yeah.
to know it.
See it there? Right? You know what I'm saying? There you have it, man. Self-explanatory, man. See, they don't consider, man. That's anyway, which we know we're going to get into it. It's prophecies. You know what I mean? But he's bringing the balance too. Trump is just reckless. He hasn't got no filter. Anything he's put his hand to, you hear about what they call it? What's that? Hold on, it's gonna come to me. Anything you put your hand to turns to gold.
Oh yeah, it's Midas
Midas touch.
The Midas touch.
Let me just curiosity, just curious. Let me just see. You're going in the spirit.
Yeah, man. Even Trump, once again, even Trump also mentioned about during his, I think, inauguration. He did mention earlier on this year about bringing Babylon, bringing America into the golden age, the golden age of
there you
America.
go.
So,
Well, that's heavy.
yeah.
Everything touched the gold. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're talking about the Midas touch, as you're getting, of course.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hold on. I'm gonna ask a question from Google. I spoke. Let me ask it again. The opposite to the Midas touch. Sudden touch. The Sudim.
To X. The Sudim touch is the opposite of the Midas touch. With the Midas touch, everything you touch turns to gold. With touch, you ruin everything you touch.
That's Esau Edom, man.
So we're having a bit of fun with it, but I mean, Google, you know, I didn't say it, it's Google said it. I've learned something new. Sadim touch.
Yeah.
And everything he touches, man.
He ruins it.
He ruins it, man. So we're going to get some precepts. Let's read this article. The Trump reckless Middle East policy has brought the US to the brink of war. Let's check this one out. We just read a bit of it to it.
That's the one.
Yeah. You haven't read it yet, have you?
No, but I read the title before.
All right.
But it's all good. It's all good. I didn't go too deep into
So this is what happens when you've got the opposite to the Midas touch, the Midas touch, something like that. Midas touch.
Sadim touch.
Oh,
That's
Sadim.
the opposite.
Right.
It ruins everything. So on that article from Brookings.edu, it says here Trump's reckless Middle East policy has brought the US to the brink of war. So of course the other nations such as Iran, Iraq, they have their eyes targeting Babylon right now. With all these measures that America is just putting out there. Of course Trump being the face of it since he's the puppet.
Yeah.
So
Jump down to in a troubled world after read that bit there, after a troubled world. And this is what we're talking about. This is prophecy, right? In a troubled world. That's what Revelation chapters 18, man. You know what I mean? And we're waiting for Jacob's trouble. Yeah, Jacob's trouble. We're not going to get it, but yeah, we're waiting for this troubled world. And we're on the brink of it. Jeremiah 30 and 7. That troubled world.
yes, a lot.
We've got the same article.
It's this one, isn't it?
Trump in the Middle East policy has brought to the brink of war. I'm talking about my phone. I think it's a bit different on yours.
Yeah,
All
it's here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's talking about the drone strike. Yeah. Just after it says, read that bit. Editor's notes.
Oh,
That's the one.
So in the editor's note, it says the recent killing of Qasem Soleimani, head of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force.
Yeah.
It says
that
further.
was in the news recently. You know what I mean? One of my major, is it MSNBC, one of the major news channels. I ain't been getting it recently. Things have changed up on my feed. So I've been watching mainly CNN. So, you know, that was a major, you know, I've got a lot of my videos, done a lot of my videos off the back of that. So I'm changing up now, but it's been in the news. CNN be touching on things, but you know, CNN is a bit more censored. That's what I've been noticing. So you know what I mean? I like to get my news raw, but we're going in now. This is what happened, yeah?
Right, so it says Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force, further undermines the United States' already weak position in the Middle East.
MSNBC, if I'm saying it right. That's the news channel. Yeah.
It says, so Iran further undermines the United States' already weak position. So, of course, America being in a weak position.
Yeah, and you said it earlier, and that's in, is it Obadiah? We gonna say they're strong.
Yeah, I think it's Joel 3.
Can't. Yeah. And there's one that talks about it. As a matter of fact, we're gonna hit all those precepts, man.
After.
Yeah.
It says further undermines the United States' already weak position in the Middle East. Writes Daniel Byman, this piece already appeared in Vox, which is another news outlet as well.
Yeah.
So the point being is that America is in that weak position. Of course, Iran has their eyes on America because they killed their leader.
Yeah, go on, read it and then we comment after. It kind of explains it. Yeah.
Continuing on, it says the US drone strike that killed Major General Qasem Soleimani, the longtime leader of Iran's paramilitary Quds Force of the Islamic Republican Guard Corps, comes when the United States is at a dangerous crossroads in the Middle East. Soleimani was responsible for many of Iran's most important relationships.
So you imagine like who's quite important now? You got like Keir Starmer over here, and then someone comes along and deletes them. You know what I'm saying? Assassinates them.
It's gonna provoke them.
You know what I mean? So that's how we don't see it, but that's how the Iranians. That's how they be seeing it. We kill one of our rulers, and that's why I done a video recently where the children, when one British or US news reporter went to visit Hamas. Was it Gaza, right?
That's Yeah, you're
Yeah,
correct.
and they was well, they would have stoned him if they got him,
Mm.
but they were stoning him out of the land, man. They stoned. He had to get back in one of his protected armored vans and
Yeah.
go. They literally was going up to the guy we stoned. These are 12 years old, younger, 5, no older than 12, was going up and trying to stone him, man. So
Yeah.
that's them building up their frustration from a young age. And they said, we're going to get you. And he's doing all that. Little
Yeah.
12
Yeah.
So the children, they know who their enemies are. Right? This is how they be feeling, man. Yeah, the weak. That's a part of it because there's an old saying, Ziggy Marley had a song. The youths of today are the men of tomorrow. And we were not the youths of, we were the youths of yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, what are we? We're prophesying now because we come back in our lot.
And you always mention about the tomorrow people. You always mention that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's it. That's another thing. Who are the real? Because there was one of my favorite so-called superhero or what do you call it? Futuristic movies. Because you hear about Star Wars, Galaxia, some of these,
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of them. There's others. So many. Space 99.9. That was one of the first ones. And then Tomorrow People was before all of them. When I used to get up in the morning and have my breakfast and watch Tomorrow People had some powers. All they had the telepathy. You hear about beam me up, Scotty. They were the first who come with that beam. They would touch their belt like that and just disappear and reappear. And I said, and I watched it and I said, boy, that was a wicked program. Looking back in hindsight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's us though. The real Tomorrow People. That's why they're in great fear, as the brothers have been saying, when they see the prophets prophesying and their kingdom starting to fall via the word that we be speaking, because that's how it happens. It's the words that we bring in this, as Elder Apostle Kababi saying. When we prophesy, it has an effect on this kingdom.
Yes, yeah.
Bricks, or a couple of bricks, bricks by bricks, buildings by buildings, be feeling it, shaking up.
yeah. So, on the point on the weak saying I am strong, this is that precept. This is Joel 3 and verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords. I'll read verse 9. It says, proclaim ye among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw
The
near.
mighty men are the angels. Yeah. When we see chariots and we say, and they be flashing us and we be feeling all good. I always said this, I always look in the spirit. They be either coming from judgment because they don't sleep. The angels, we know the angels in the spiritual realm. They've got the second heaven.
Yeah.
Right, which is that's up there, second heaven, which is, or otherwise described as governments, heavens. And then you've got the third heaven,
Space.
to outer space, and then
Yeah.
you've got the fourth dimension, which is the crossing over into the spiritual realm, which are the angels, and we are amongst. Let me say it right. The fourth dimension is here, but it's invisible to us.
Yeah.
So the angels are very much present, in the fourth dimension, and they cross over and appear as men. Hebrews chapters 12, 13 and 1. Be mindful that we be entertaining strangers, which are angels unawares, the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, they're the mighty men, and yeah, man, there's so this was a whole nother video, but my mind be racing about on that particular topic or thoughts now on the angels, how they've appeared. Samson was just like a carnal angel in the flesh. When that spirit got on him, it was like it was an angel. It's pure, because one angel can destroy the whole planet, man. Back to I was talking about the power of this word. It has the power to cause car accidents. Brothers, making mention of that. But finish reading that scripture, man.
Yeah,
Precept.
so the angels are the mighty ones.
Yep.
It says, let all the men of war draw near,
Yep.
let them come up. It says, beat your plowshares into swords
Yeah.
and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Yeah.
Come on. So when it says plowshares into swords, because the plowshares is a farming tool that's used. So you could even liken that as normal men of whom had their regular day jobs, their regular livelihoods, and them having to get drafted up in order to fight for this war, man, which is going to be World War III. That's what that's talking about. It says plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. So again, plowshares, pruning hooks, farming tools used for wars or weaponry. So they convert into, as it says here, swords, and it says swords, and it says spears, which are tools of war. It says, let the weak say, I am strong. Of course, these other nations such as India, Pakistan, some other nations as well, they wield nuclear missiles as well, man. Those nuclear missiles would then be directed towards America, Babylon the Great. So that was a precept to support that as well. And another one, based on the mighty ones too. This is Hebrews 13:2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. So of course, you maybe doing camp one day, or even walking in the streets, and there could be a guy that's literally looking you in the eye, and then you may be wondering in your face, in your head, like, why is this guy looking at me? That brother right there could be an angel, man. Or give you like a little shalom without you even realizing.
Yeah.
Or even during camp as well.
A lot of testimonies. Wow. Even over there in America, over across the water, our elders, and I kept the video. It was just so intriguing. A so-called Jake lookalike, which it's in the balance, but I mean, I'm going to go with what the elders said. They said he was an angel, because when they said he was speaking to him, he said, "Yeah, we just see one of those UFO or chariot just going over there," and he just seemed so what's the word? Awkward. The man. I'm just explaining the angel. He came over like he was very awkward, like as if he knew what we said. No, hold on. He just came over like as if he was very like socially awkward. Have you heard that word, socially awkward? No, but just socially awkward. You know what I mean? Just socially awkward, like as if he doesn't know what time it is. But then when you listen to what he was saying, he was on point. That's how angels can come across. Like as if, another way to describe it is when you describe Superman, and then you got his the alter ego Superman, and then you got Clark Kent. Sometimes angels can come across like Clark Kent, like they don't they're just simple and stupid, like they don't know what's going on. But when he heard what he said, when the apostle said to him, Hebrews chapters 13 and 1 and 2, the angel said, angels can be in the sky, and he quoted, the angel quoted the scripture. That's what I said, right, I'm gonna tape it, and I'm gonna put it on my back burner, and I put it up again. It's up again, and every now and then I'll just be watching it and bursting out laughing. But the point is that don't be the scripture says don't be read it again, man. Hebrews. We're talking about prophecy, but it's all prophecy anyway.
This is Hebrews 13 and 2. It says, "Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares."
Yeah. So Clark Kent come over like they're not really all there. They come. What's another word where they call them over there? We call them tramps, a homeless person. Over in America, they call them derelicts. Like as if they're homeless. They come over like as if they're kind of awkward. They don't know. We're borderline. I've heard the word before. Borderline. There's a word when someone's like they're kind of like what's the word? Crazy. But there's another word. Hold on. Anyway, the word might come to me, but just socially awkward. The word might come to me while we carry on. So you finished with that?
Yeah.
That made the point. Yeah, because the war, we're talking about the war, they're gathering the mighty men, man, and that's that war. This is in, I'm going to read it. You read Joel chapter 3, innit? And 9, I'm going to read 2 now. "And I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted among my land." Right, man. The valley of Jehoshaphat talks about that battle of Armageddon, and valley meaning mountain of troops. And I think did you read Revelation 16? I think you read that.
No,
yeah. Read that to back up the point. Revelation 16 and 16. So this is all prophecy. It goes into the mountain or Armageddon. Just hit that one. We're going to stay in that one where you are. We're going to read a little bit more, and then it kind of helps the point as well. When the wicked beareth rule, because it's basically people are disfranchised, and that's a whole nother video. People literally, their businesses are being affected because of Trump, man. The words that he be saying, that recklessly. You know what I'm saying? So according to looking at Revelation 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. Read a bit of that.
Go on, I got I start from the unclean frogs or the.
Goes to 16, straight to 16.
So Revelation 16 and verse 16, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Right. Yep. And I just mentioned it. That backs up that point. So yeah, Armageddon meaning valley, mountain of troops, right? Or Jehoshaphat, yeah, to fight the battle of Armageddon, right? And it's a literal place too. So that's what's happening. The angels are, when we see them going over our head, yeah, they'll be either going from judgment or going to judgment, or just watching over us. Psalms 34 and 7, protecting over the elect, so that we don't get, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm.
And you notice another, if I may interject, another important thing that Captain even mentioned, that when we see chariots, they're also doing work. They're actually working.
It's not just-
Preparing. You remember the scriptures, I prepare a place for you.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
They're constantly working because they don't sleep.
Yeah,
do
they
they don't
can't.
sleep. They don't
Yeah.
eat.
They don't need to.
They don't rest. They don't need to, because as I said, we can't kill a spirit. You know what I mean? That's what it's. I'm going to say one scripture. That's why it says, fear him, fear who could kill the
body,
the body,
the body
and the soul.
and fear him that will kill the body and the soul, right? And we say, don't fear that can kill the body only. And remember, it is the Lord's putting the spirit on them to do whatever they have to be in obedience to the Lord anyway.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
To your point, they be. John chapter 14. To your point, I go on my way to prepare a place.
Yes.
So building, they talk about other universes or other planets that they be seeing every. Those people, what they call them. You got the scientists, but then you got the physicists that be looking up.
Yes.
Astronomers, astrologers, and astronomies. They be looking all up into the stars, skies, and that's what they be saying. They be seeing every 2 years. I believe it's even more than that. They said every 2 years they see a new planet that comes into existence. I believe it's probably every 6. In the spirit now, I think because time is moving up, it may be even more now. But that's what they be saying, man. To back up your point, they don't sleep, man. Yeah.
Go to Proverbs, back in Proverbs.
Go back in there. There's some more nice meat in that.
Yeah, let's go to Proverbs
Yeah.
29 verse 16 now. When the wicked are multiplied, transgressions increaseth,
Yeah.
but the righteous shall see their fall.
Yeah, that's the elect, man. You know what I mean? That's why we don't get frustrated when we see Nero. I've done a little bit fact checking on Nero.
Yes,
All right, this is what to back up. Well, our elders be saying that we be doing that fact checking. So I done a little bit of fact checking on Nero, and he said, when you do the fact checking, you be able to see it that he's Nero coming back, right? So all I did, I asked Google. I just voiced it in. Did Nero have Peter deleted? And it gave me a little bit more. It says yes. Traditional accounts reported by historical events indicated that both Saint Peter, right? Because we heard about how he burnt down Rome, didn't he? He deleted a lot of the Christians, burned them on the torch stakes, used them as torches, and had them blamed it on them for burning down Rome. He burned down Rome and blamed it on them. Evidence indicated that both Saint Peter and Apostle Paul were executed under Roman Empire Nero. Roman Empire, am I saying that right? Emperor Nero, yeah. The persecution of Christians by Nero is associated. So it gives me all the stats that you want if you want to do research on it. It's irrefutable. One more, it says they agree that Paul should focus his mission on the Gentiles while Peter will focus on the Jews. Nero sentenced both of them to death. And as they were on their way to executions, they laid hands on their disciples, on Mark and Paul and Luke, after Paul and Peter were deleted. Right, there's more on it. So do your fact checking, man. It's all there for us to see. This is Nero coming back, and he hated. What is he doing now to the so-called asylum seekers, which are our people, the Latin tribes, right? You got the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. He hates them, man. What did he say about black people now over here? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna just ask a quick question. I'm just curious. Ask a quick question on Google. we're making use of this this tech here because I'm getting used to it now myself. So, what did Trump say about black people? See what he said. Give me an honest answer. What Trump says has done much for the black. Let me see what it says. Trump emphasizes meeting U.S. President confronts South Africa. Let me see. All right. Racial vows on Donald Trump.
By the way, you know, there's still Jake over there in South Africa, because I know right now in the news you got people mocking the fact that the South African president, of whom was with Donald Trump as well.
Yes.
You know, there was recent news on.
I'm just gonna check the time.
Yeah, come on. There's recent news on them trying to send so-called Edomite. Well, I say so-called, but they are Edomite. Certain of them over there in South Africa. The so-called white people.
yeah.
They're trying to send them over here.
No, he sent him over there. He's
What, the South African president?
no.
Yeah.
No, carry on your point. I'm going to check something.
Yeah,
carry
come on. There were some of them are moving from there from South Africa to America, and of course that's just to help warm up for Jacob's trouble as well. Because recently, but let me just stick straight to the point. Trump, what he was saying was, he was pretty much mocking the president because over there, you know, there's this, you know, with the apartheid that's happened in history. There's that division is still there between Jake, you know, that lives there, and of course between Edomites as well, between Edomites and Jacob. So the point is, they're moving over here, but despite them moving over here, that Edomite blood is still within them. So they'll then be used for these race wars and riots as well. An example of that is that recently in the elementary school, I think for some elementary school graduation or something, where an Edomite woman, obviously coming from South Africa, you could tell from the accent.
And it's interesting because, don't forget your point, because Elon Musk is from South Africa too. Elon Musk, his right-hand man, carry on.
So don't underestimate the evil, because in the elementary school, there was a Jake woman who was sitting next to the husband of an Edomite South African. And then, you know, she didn't want the so-called black woman, you know, the Israelite woman, to sit next to her husband. You know, so then they got into an argument, you know, obviously exchanging words and whatnot, saying, you know, basically the seat isn't owned by them. You know, and essentially, skipping to the point, the Edomite woman then spat on the Israelite woman, man. And they had the whole hall just be looking at them two, man. And then, you know, people came through and said, you know, calm down to the Edomite man and the wife, man. So these Edomites over there in South Africa, they're coming over there in America to then warm up for Jacob's trouble and the race wars.
Race wars, good point.
And what Trump was doing that I was supposed to mention was he was actually showing a video there was a place, because, you know, Edomites and obviously other people on the internet right now on YouTube are mocking it, where the South African president has people of whom are just, it was essentially like a mocking festival type of thing. Where they were just mocking Jake over there in South Africa. It's really, you know, Jake's doing what they're doing, but, you know, in a sense of folly, I could say that.
All right.
You know, but,
I'm glad you said that, because it just reminded me of something.
Go on.
Has Trump given South Africans citizenship? Yeah, because I heard about that. Yeah. So Trump, there you go. So find this article, because it just gave me the article, right? It says, U.S. South African tension explains as Trump hosts. Let me see it. Find the article. There's a lot of videos why Trump's given white South Africans refugee status. Right? This is Al Jazeera. See, you can hear what we say, but it's all here, man. The point you just made. So I've gone to Al Jazeera. It says why Trump's given white South Africans refugee status. So really, that's the point. They made the point. And when we look into it from that race aspect and the spiritual aspect, it blows away the point. It makes the point. It's all for the race wars. And when they interviewed a lot of so-called black people, said there's no such thing as black people, but our people, Israelites, so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Latinos, they're saying when they come over here, right, because they blame them for crime, but they're the ones that be committing all the crime, right? So why has Trump given white South Africans refugee status? Trump stirs controversy by calling Afrikaners a minority group descended from Dutch colonialist victims of a genocide in South Africa. Right, that's a whole nother video, but a lot of South Africans, and you mentioned Elon Musk from South Africa, they're talking about their land, and they're being, you know, have to fight, and they're being pushed off their land, which is not their land anyway. You know, we know better than that. So that's another why we see tensions rising over in America, and Jacob's trouble, as you made that point about Jacob's trouble. Yeah, it is.
2nd Esdras 15 and 16. For there shall be seditions among men,
Yeah,
and invading one another. They shall not regard their
that's a good one.
kings,
That's a good one.
nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Yeah, man. That's why, because when what we opened up with Proverbs 20, we'll go back to it and read some more. There's some meat in there too, you know, because we usually open up, and when we speak about when we speak about Proverbs 29, we only read 1 and 2 of those verses, but there's some more to back up the point in there. Proverbs 29.
29. Let's go to 18. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he.
Yeah, there's no vision. Right? That's the difference between us and them. You know what I'm saying? Where there is no vision, the people perish. That's why you got these disenfranchised people, because of his reckless behaviour, his decision, what do you call it, spontaneous action, just without giving it any thought. Let's hit some more precepts on that. There's
Yeah, I've got an article as well.
yeah, you got article. Bring it out, man.
So, you know, based on the South Americans coming in, this is from AP News.
Yeah.
It says what to know as Trump brings a group of white South Africans, to the US as refugees. It says here, this article was written May 13th, 2025, and it says here, Cape Town, and it was updated actually 3:45 a.m. Right now it's like 5:27. Where it says
So this is fresh off the press, breaking news. Yeah.
they updated it today.
Can't.
So Cape Town, South Africa, AP, the Trump administration brought a small number of white South Africans to the United States as refugees Monday. You know, right now it's Thursday currently. It says it's the start of a larger relocation effort for members of the minority Afrikaner group who are being persecuted by their black-led government because of their race. The 59 South Africans had their applications fast-tracked by the US.
Yeah, there you go. That's the point. That's the point right there. Yeah.
After President Donald Trump announced the relocation program in February. He said Monday that white Afrikaner farmers are facing a genocide in their homeland, an allegation strongly denied by the South African government. So of course that's what's talking about, you know, that's really the point right there where Trump is gathering these Edomites from over there in South Africa, which all in all it goes into prophecy because they'll then be used, as I mentioned before, for the race riots, man, you know, sedition among men. You know, so when Edomites are then going to be fighting Jake, you know, all of this is just preparation for that.
Yeah.
You know, and over there, you know, Jake over there is just frustrated with
Yeah.
the Edomites over there, man. That's why, you know, there's that division.
When the wicked man beareth rule, the people sigh.
Yeah.
Bring out that one, Proverbs 21. That the king is in the heart of the Most High, innit? Yeah. So this is the movie. This is how the Most High wants you to play it, and he's playing it exactly the way it's supposed to. This is prophecy. You know, the title of this video, prophecy, man. You know, reckless. Trump's reckless abandonment. Did we look up that word?
No, not abandonment, but reckless.
We looked up the word reckless, didn't we? We know what abandonment is. So you found some scriptures in the blue letter. Back up the point about the scriptures that we were looking at earlier about to describe recklessness in the blue letter.
Calm. I'll get that one soon, but let me get this one for you. This is Proverbs 21, verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will.
Yeah, break it down, man.
So really it says the king's heart is in the hand of the Most High Yahweh. So that really that really can be backed up by the one where it says, man's goings are of the Lord. He's the one who wears the spirits. So of course, the Most High controls, what direction a certain president, which can be represented as a king here, what direction of which he will lead the country. And of course, Nero is doing that on the left-hand side for him to, of course, lead to
Jacob's trouble,
yeah, Jacob's trouble.
fulfilling of prophecy,
Yeah.
the ultimate prophecy,
God.
that grand finale, Yahushua return.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
first, we're going to have to see the uprisings, man, and to enter into the kingdom. That's one of your favorites. We have to go through much tribulation.
Yeah.
That's one of your favorites. But pressure, good pressure. This is good pressure.
Yeah.
Make diamonds.
Yeah, man.
Right? Because we're not negative. You know what I mean? Pressure. You got people that try and jump out the fire, man. Oh, if anybody saw the video of those what they call it, why I left IUIC videos.
Oh yeah, ex-IUIC, man.
You can't
yeah.
take the damn pressure. What do you, man? That's what
Yeah.
it's pressure. But anyway, that's that IUIC. We know what they're into anyway.
Followers,
You know what I mean? They don't deal with 100% truth. They deal with the exploiting their followers
yeah.
for filthy lucre sake. And what's the other one? It's another one, man. Tyranny.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically tyranny going on.
Go on,
but-
though.
Make your point. Go on.
Yeah, just to support the brother's point. During the week, they've had I think there was one where you had the ex-IUIC woman.
Yeah.
A female actually came out saying,
Yeah.
the IUIC trying to slander her name, so that she could.
Is this another one, or there was a couple, a man and a woman, or, is it, or maybe
No, this one's just a woman.
it's another one now.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, that's what Elder Apostle Tahar said. You're gonna see what's gonna happen to these purple people.
Yeah.
And now you've had a couple already, one married couple, now another one.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're
Yeah.
out there, man. They're out there where the world was complaining about the fact that they use social media to then slander her name, put her down, even. though
Oh,
she
there's
helped
been
out.
one. There's been one before this one as well. There was another woman. She actually set up a YouTube channel. She's telling. That's why we don't. That's why Elder Apostle Tahar, all our elders say that they don't have. Women are supposed to be silent, man. You know what I mean?
I suffer not a woman to teach.
So they're out of order anyway. They're out of order anyway,
Mm.
right? Because this woman now, she's Gina something, her name is. And she set up a YouTube channel. I'm gonna let you finish your point. All on the what she experienced in IUIC. So they're out of order anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, all in all, that could be another outlet that the Most High would then use, to expose IUIC in terms of how they treat their own members. Which at the end of the day, they weren't really teaching, of course, the 100% truth.
Anyway.
So it's like, you're really leaving for your own good.
And women,
but
women. Now we know there's some sincere women out there. We're not talking about you, right? The elect lady, but a lot of these women are out of order, right? And they don't apply the scriptures. You know what I mean? The scriptures tell you how to behave, man. Women should be silent in the church, and keep order. And if there's any discrepancies, right? Even men, we don't run ahead. We have to suffer wrongfully too, and we're men. We suffer wrongfully because that's Yahushua, the prime example. Yahushua, he suffered wrongfully, and now where is he? On the right, Psalms 110. Let's hit that. Let's hit that one.
He's in his glory, right?
Because a lot of people, they pressure. Oh, pressure! I can't take the pressure. You take the pressure from the blasted boss at work, though, to keep your job. But the ultimate, see, you ain't got your priorities right, man. That's what it is, man. Let's find
This
that.
is Psalms 110 and verse 1. It says, the
When
Psalm
you
of
start
David.
coming out speaking and disillusioned with the men, and then now I'm not for people being exploited and oppressed and all of that. But women, you do that. You go to work. You deal with the white man anyway. You get on you got what do you call it, red knees under the table to keep your job. Right? Let me just say it like that. You go through all kind of pressure to keep your job and to get promoted all the way up to the top. You understand? But when a little bit of pressure touch you, when you're so-called in the... Anyway, there's no women in the truth. But I'll say that, the women who were back then, were helping Yahushua, supporting Yahushua, they're back here too.
Right.
and they're in their lot and they're
Yes.
keeping the order.
Yes.
Yeah.
You understand? Because we ain't forgot the more importantly, we know they're there, but the Most High knows you're there.
Right.
Yeah.
Stay in order, man, and we men have to suffer too. Suffer in silence, man. No, let me say it right. We suffer wrongfully, but the Most High, we are aware that the Most High see everything anyway. Same way how you should be. The spiritual men and women know that. Most High see everything, right? And if you've been exploited or oppressed, or you've been, what's the word? Another word when someone's took money from you, used and abused. Yahushua was used and abused, and now read the precept, Baba Kushal.
This is Psalms 110
Yeah.
and verse 1. So Psalms 110 verse 1, a psalm of David,
Yep.
said, the Lord Yahweh said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Break it down.
Oh, so of course, where it says the Lord said unto my Lord, it wasn't the Most High speaking unto himself. Man. You know, it's talk about Yahweh speaking unto Yahushua, where it
Yeah.
says, sit thou at my right
So that's a
hand.
cut on the Trinity. Yeah, yeah, that
You
cuts
sit,
that.
sit thou at my right hand. So of course, Yahushua sits on the right hand of Yahweh. Man. And it says, until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Yeah, because
man.
people be saying that they are one, and I've heard that, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses don't even accept that, and I was a Jehovah's Witness once upon a time, but that's usually those so-called Pentecostal Trinitarian churches. They say that they are one. That
Yeah.
cuts that.
Yeah.
Just to make that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it says, until I make thine enemies thy footstool. So of course, those enemies, you can see it, you can read Psalms 83, that's the whole list of them. You know, Edom, Ishmael, Moab,
Yeah.
of course, all the other nations that have
The
oppressed.
wicked of your own people,
Yeah, that as well.
tyrants, because we're talking on the point of tyranny. Tyranny happens, it's real.
Yeah,
We've had to deal with that. You know what I mean? That's part that if that's part of your journey, you have to deal with that in righteousness.
Right.
And the Most High is going to give you what did he do to David?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? David had to be persecuted by a man of the Lord. At once upon a time, he was a man of the Lord. David had to flee from him. King Saul. That's a whole other video. But just making the point, people don't, you know what I mean? They want to jump out the fire, man. But they take pressure from the Edomites at work. Takes all kinds of stick from him. You understand? I was so-called Jehovah's Witness in there for 20 years. It weren't no and that was. I've only told some brothers some of the testimony about what I had to experience in that. It's just part of. If that was part of the lot, that was part of the lot. Part of the learning process, and you do learn some stuff too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Brothers who go to school, yeah, you're no longer in
Yeah,
school,
yeah.
but college.
Go on.
You've dealt,
Same thing, really.
which is all really part of the training for
It
us
is,
to
it
have
is.
social skills. You're good with the tech right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't jump out the fire when you had, you know, people talking about you behind the back and all kind of stupid little folly be going on. Women making up stories. If they like you and you don't like them, they start to make up lies about you. All kind of fool. It's little things, but it's still annoying. And I'm saying,
is, it
women,
is.
women, they get that, and then they don't like it. Gossiping, all kind of gossiping. Right, the list goes on, but
Yeah.
read it again, Baba Kusha, just to make the point, and then we're going to move on from that, you know.
So look, even just the mere lack of faith, that
Yeah.
can be annoying as well.
Right.
It's that, you know, the women of which brothers are dealing with, they may be shaking in their faith, and then they try and rub off that stress upon you.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta have your stability based upon the scriptures. So that's just a little point there. So verse 2, it says, the Lord Yahweh, so this is Psalms 110 verse 2, the Lord Yahweh shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion, rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. So of course Yahweh shall read the rod of the strength of Zion.
Yeah.
You know, so he's going to be the one, he's literally going to be the one of who's going to bestow us with spiritual power when we need it in the time to come of Jacob's trouble. And that's through the faith that we have in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Because remember, when you mentioned, again, a classic story within the scriptures where the disciples tried to cast out a demon from a lunatic boy, you know, which is basically a man's son of him was crazy in the mind
Yeah.
to cast off demons. The disciples asked him, so why couldn't we cast it out? Yahushua simply said, because of your unbelief, your lack of faith. So of course, in the same way, we've got to have faith, in the absence of Yahushua, which we won't need that even more so because of that absence. But we know and truly believe that He is with us, to the very end, Yahushua, to the point of salvation.
Yeah. Now find that precept for me. The wicked watch the righteous and seek it to slay him. Right? And bring out that one while he's looking for that. Psalms 10. See, when women they jump at the fire, it shows what we really made of. You and men, 'cause men be trying to jump at the fire too, and turn into scoffers and come against their elders that taught them. You know what I mean? Because they've been consumed by the dark side. That's what happens, man. You see, when you let's hit the precept bubble for sure. Psalms 110 and read from let him find it. Read from 1 and read up to about 4.
Right. No,
Psalms 10.
Psalms
My
10.
bad. Psalms 10.
No, you did tell me the 4 in the Psalms 10. It's
Yeah.
mine. It's me.
All right, what? Yeah, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for Ahab. It happens. Sometimes you get them mental blocks. It happens, bro.
The flesh.
See, sometimes the Most High gave me I got my issue. Some brothers know. So therefore, I'll be patient with my brother. He's got that. It's in a similar way, but it's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. You got it?
Psalms 10, verse from the top. You want me to start?
Yeah.
What is it?
Read up to about 4.
Right. Psalms 10, verse
Find that
1.
Got it? Yeah.
Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble?
King David, man. You see, King David had problems with his family. Absalom,
Son chasing.
son, he actually what do you call it? He came against him, but he gathered people to him, and it was against King David. There's a whole nother long story, but he had that rise up trouble in his household. He's one of his concubines, one of his sons had his concubines. Saul pursued him.
Yeah.
When you go into it's a long time, years. I think the last time I checked it was around 15, 13 years, something like that. King Saul, who was once anointed of the Most High, was pursuing David, man. So he had to be a fugitive and hide up in the rocks and stuff for years. And it was, when you don't understand the story of that, it kind of gives you, it's like a sobering reminder that men of the Lord, what men of the Lord go through. Yehoshua too, when he had to hide from the so-called, the wicked Pharisees and Sadducees, the wicked of them, and you had to deal with them. You had to duck out a couple of times. We hear about man ducking, duck. Gunshot and all that, duck and all of that. You hear about them gang, the man have to duck. Yehoshua had to deal with that. What do we deal with over here in England? What do they do? Shadow banding. We got to deal with shadow banding.
On the tech level.
Right? It's annoying. It is annoying. But is it what Yehoshua was dealing with? I mean, we're building up we are building up to the grand finale, Jacob Trouble, and our minds are getting sterned up, sharpened up. Stoicked up, if you like. That's a new word. Hardened. The order. So we're not cheapening. If you get shadow banned, and if you got 30 views and they put it down to 2 and all that kind of. We're not cheapening it. It's there to discourage you and it's annoying, but your whole shy to go through, man.
Let me get a scripture to back that up.
All right, and then come back to that.
Yes.
All right, calm.
Isaiah 35th.
And family things too. Brothers, the family. Some of them family arguments are bloody. You hear about family arguments, right? You hear about in school, because you can come. You leave school, you come home. You know what I mean? You left school, but in your house, man. You understand? That thing is annoying, man.
Yeah, and the house, man. When you go into your house, that's supposed to be a special area.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be peace and quiet and lay down.
A man's house is his castle.
This is castle.
And some brothers have got domestic women. Women with the domestic issues. You might have to duck the vase. You ever see on TV when the woman frying the vase and the man shut the door in just in time? That's real, bro. Man have to duck vases sometimes because the women have got.
with or without the flowers.
I was imagining that.
That's real because the women time of the month and all of that. Yeah, man, it's real. And the men of the Lord, it goes up. We get it on steroids, man. If you got a woman, you get it. As even the brothers said it, when the brothers have a woman, when she comes at you, it's even worse because you're a man of the Lord.
Right. Isaiah 53 and 7.
What?
Oh boy, we've been there, brother. We've been there. Brother.
But brothers, we will have to come back in our lots.
Yeah, man.
We ain't mad at you. Go on, bro.
Isaiah 53 and 7. He was oppressed. We talk about Yahushua here. He was oppressed. He
Yeah.
was afflicted.
Ah.
Yet not. Yet he opened not his mouth.
Oh,
He was brought as a lamb to the slaughter. And aren't we do that every day? We've been brought to the slaughter every day because we are killed all the day long.
oh.
And as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth.
Yeah. Right. So if you want to be, nah, I'm gonna wait till that go past. All right. All right. I'm glad you said that, brother. And I'm gonna ask you to read it again. I'm glad you read it because I'm gonna ask you to read it again. See, this is all. And just to say, we have to apply this first and foremost to ourselves.
Yes.
So you read that precept. I'm gonna ask you to read it again. One second.
Still holding that. Seeketh to slay.
All right. Stoic meaning.
This is the definition of stoic. A person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining.
See, you said there. If you heard that, I read it. If you didn't hear that, a person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining. Right? That's Yahushua. That's
Yes, man.
That's oh
You
my.
see, Aziz, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Can I read it again for you?
Yeah.
Let me finish.
2. A member of philosophy school of Stoicism. All right, another one. Another term for Stoicism is of a belonging to the Stoic or their school of philosophy. All right, no. Read it.
Again,
It's been explained.
Isaiah 53, verse 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth.
So, okay, so what precept was that?
Isaiah 53,
Oh, third.
Yeah.
7.
Verse 7. Okay.
So when you're at home, when we have my woman, we're gonna have him 7. We're gonna have 7 women soon, right? Or more.
Completion. A complete amount of women.
Anyway, that was Isaiah 1. But
4 and 1.
this is the point here. This is the point here, right? Being stoic is being calm and almost without any emotion. We're not saying, it doesn't say don't have any emotion. He says being calm and almost without any emotion. When you are stoic, you don't show what you are feeling. Right? Does it mean you ain't got? No, it's about controlling your mind, your heart. Some people have the ability. Oh, there's this guy. I'm gonna make the point. He can go underwater and hold his breath for 4 minutes sometimes. I think the record is around about 8 minutes. But what does he do? How does he do it? He has the ability to control his heart. That's kind of extremely.
Wim Hof.
No, it's not Wim Hof though. It's someone else. We can bring it up in another when we're talking about health. You know?
Yeah.
Because now it's health's come up in this one. For another video, we can go into it. But I'm just making the point. He has the ability to slow down his heart. So that's
Yeah.
now on this side. I'll say this: on this side, or definitely in the kingdom, when we have the new body, we're going to be all that under control.
Beyond.
The emotions and beyond on steroids.
You know, it's the spirit now, because I had this on deck. Can I read this out? I had this on deck.
Yeah, go on.
Proverbs 16 and 32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and again,
See, he kept calm when that was going past. That was the example there. See,
But what
Spirit,
a-
man.
it's all. The Most High brings everything up, man. Yeah.
that's everything. Proverbs 16 and 32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city.
I know you're holding that precept, yeah. Yeah. Break it down.
Taketh a city, that because could you imagine now to control his spirit, all right? Like we're going back to Nero again, right?
Yeah.
He's not controlling his spirit because it's all spiritual. It's
Yeah.
from the Lord because what? He knows he has a short time.
Yeah.
He knows he has a short time, right? I was watching something the other day, I can't remember, and Trump was saying how he has to do something within a period of 4 years. You see?
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to see where
It's
I
got
found
one
it.
of his executive orders.
Or something like that,
Yeah.
within a space of.
See,
so-
that's why we got so much to talk about when it comes to Trump. So much topics, so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
videos we can get through.
Yeah,
can
yeah.
finish.
So he's because as we know,
Yeah.
going back to Revelations 12 and 12, you know that you have a short time.
Yeah.
You see, so it's all about controlling the spirit. But what the Lord, that's why the Lord says to us, "Wait upon me until I fight to the prey." Because if we take it upon ourselves, all right, we get angry, would we?
Daniel chapter 12.
Yeah.
Hold that on board.
Okay.
Bring out that one, Baba Pusha. Yeah, because of what you just said. Now I'm going to
Yeah,
read this again. Being stoic is being calm and almost without any emotion. I know you're asked you to hold that one. Get down. No, he's getting Daniel. Read that one, that precept. The wicked watcheth the righteous. Yeah.
So this is Psalms 37 and verse 22, verse 32.
12. From the top. Hold it from the top.
So Psalms 37 and 32. The wicked watcheth
Yep.
the righteous and seeketh to slay him.
Yeah. So they be watching us, man. Right? Yes. That what was that woman's name? Susan Divinsky. She was the CEO of YouTube. What did we do? We kept taking all that to destroy this, doing that to our video, doing that. We just put up the prayers, and we got the news deleted, and then her son had some kind of issue with an addiction.
Yeah.
So she was going through some shit, man. You see, I put up curses when I was getting all of that.
Yeah.
Put up the curses, man. So I read it again, and then read that precept again. Being calm and almost without any emotion. When you are stoic, you don't show what you are feeling, right? With the slapping up Yehoshua, right? Was it Pilate slapping him? Speak to us. Some of them are spitting on him, putting the thorns on his head. Yeah. You are feeling. You are almost. You also concept whatever is happening, except whatever is happening. The non-stoic, however, the non-stoic is a person who, what's that? Epicureans,
Yeah,
right? Person who's not very No, I'm reading that wrong. The non-stoic is a person who's not very emotional. The adjective stoic, no, I think it means very
The
emotional.
adjective stoic. He's not very emotional, so he doesn't express himself.
Yeah, the non-stoic is a person who's not very emotional.
The noun Salaki, the noun stoic, let's talk about the word stoic, Salaki.
Right. All right. The adjective stoic describes any person, action, or thing that seems emotionless and almost blank. Poker
read.
face. If you're in any kind of martial arts, we can start winding down now because we're getting to the grand finale. When you're into all them kind of martial arts, you don't show emotion. You hit me there, you don't go, oh, you don't hit me there again. Because what if you say don't hit me there again, he's gonna hit you there again. But that's what you be learning. You understand? You don't say, oh, you hurt me there. He's gonna, you understand? So read that again. You don't tell your enemy what your emotions is.
Even Salaki, even in boxing, sometimes you hear the commentator say, he's trying to play it off, which means that the guy of whom got punched is easier to read.
Right? Yeah.
So
It's poker face. That's another word for it. Poker face. So Epicureans are the total opposite, man. Right? They're weak spirit. They cry. The crybabies, always crying about something. Always crying about nothing. Sometimes you can cry, but don't cry about nothing. But if you have to cry, because men, nothing wrong with a man, but cry to the Yehovah Shem Yoshai. We're not saying don't cry, but just get your pride, get it right, man. Abu Razak. I'm trying to be balanced because we're being trained. Realistically, we're being trained for the grand finale and Jacob's trouble
Ongoing process.
and Nero.
Yeah.
He started to show his horns already. What he's doing to the Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes, Native Americans, and Latinos. What he's doing to them, he's showing his horns there. They're crying, but the elect, man, when he turns on us, we're going to be crying to Yehovah Shem Yoshai, just to bring the balance.
Yeah.
And what's Yehoshua going to do? We're going to end with that one. Read that again.
Right, so Psalms 37 and verse 32. The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. So of course that talks about, when it says Esau does a diligent search, his mouth is as smooth as oil, like Button as well, that's Psalm 55. And that's all about Esau watching over Jake, to try and target him and destroy Jake. Obviously during 2020, 2021 and 2022, when the Jews came out, to, of course, it's the poison
Yeah.
to get to Jake, and not just Jake as well.
And we lived to tell the testimonies.
Yes, yes.
So we have what's the word? We speaking we're an example.
Yeah, I think.
So we can speak on with authority with that.
Yeah, even Joe Biden as well.
Yeah.
They were saying over there in America, we got to get the blacks, the Hispanics, and the Native Americans. So they were targeting Jake hot in that season, man, to take up that poison. So that's part of the wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him in all manner of ways, from the air that he breathes, from the food that he eat, from of course even psychologically with what you consume on the news and all these other bullshit out there, to affect the mind state of Jake. Because with what they push out there, with what you see with your eyes, people can take up demons, man. You start wondering, why are these nightmares happening? It could be something that he consumed the previous day, because Esau does have a way of sending out demons to people, man.
Yeah.
He's on the left-hand side.
So how do we combat that? We stay in the spirit, man, and pray.
Yeah.
Yeah, we pray because
The whole armor.
Yeah, as what Elder Apostle Ricard says, keeping our medicine strong, right? And that could be another video. We may have a video going into that how to keep our medicine strong. We're in the flesh, so yeah, righteous man fall 7 times, but get back up again. So, but we're gonna end with this one because the reason why we're gonna end with this one, start winding down, is because we're being built up for bigger and better things to come. The Stoic spirit and balancing out how to deal with the wicked persecuting the righteous. Bring that one.
Daniel 12 verse where we'll start from.
Read from the top, man.
From the top. And at that time
About 2 verses.
shall Michael stand up,
Yeah.
the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time,
Yeah, read that again from the top. Read Baba Kusha, read Daniel chapter 12, and read from the top again.
Okay. Daniel 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up,
Yeah.
the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble.
See, that's the point. So Michael gonna come stand up for us. Michael Allah, yeah. That's the high chieftain. That one of the high chief angels, archangels. That's it. High chief archangel gonna stand up for us. Why is that though? Carry on. It's gonna be trouble. That's why he's standing up for us. Take your time.
And there shall be a time of trouble,
Yeah.
such as never was since there was a nation, even to
Same time.
that same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered.
You see, that's the point that we're focusing on. Right? We're going to be delivered. The elect are going to be delivered. As a matter of fact, we're going to end with a nice precept, Abu Ratazar, Psalms 105, I think it is, and 30. Or it might be 104 and 30. Yeah. Carry on.
And
with
it's a
that.
finisher.
Yeah.
And to be delivered. Everyone that
Yeah.
shall be found written in the book.
Right. Why? Because we're going to endure with the power and the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yeshua. And Michael, who is like Jehovah, yeah, Michael Allah, warrior. As a matter of fact, I ain't looked at that word for a little while. Michael Allah, who is like God, man.
Yeah.
Like God. That's it. So he's going to stand up for us because we're going to be the elect are going to be all crying, man. The scripture says that we all going to be crying, man, in that Jacob's trouble. Not throwing our tantrums, you know what I mean? Not throwing our toys out the bath or at the pram and all of that. That's where the focus going to be, because now is the time we're being all trained for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Go on, this is Psalms 105 and verse 30. When they went from one nation to another.
Yeah, that's Jacob's trouble too. Right? This was an example of a lot of the prophets. It goes into all of that in one of my favorites, Hebrews 11. And all those, as a matter of fact, we could end with that one. Hebrews 11 from around about 30. Yeah.
Psalms 105 and 13. When they went from one nation to another, from one kingdom to another people, he suffered no man to do them wrong, yea, he reproved kings for their sakes, saying, touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm.
Yeah, because that's what they're licking their lips, right? Oh, you got the wicked of our own people too. Jerusalem, the killer of the prophets. That's our people, because we are Jerusalem is the people before it was a place. Talking about the people. So let's hit. So yeah, they're licking their lips and they want to get their hands on us, man. Nero too, coming back of Nero, back. You know what I mean? Back with a bang. Nero wants to do, what did he do to the Christians back then? Burn down. Yeah, persecuted them, burned down Rome and blamed it on, which were us, Abarazar, with those men coming back. So Hebrews chapters 11, just to bring the balance. Hebrews chapters 11, and the scripture does done tell us. Let's find it. From around about. See, we could hit all of them, you know. We could hit, as a matter of fact, hit a couple of them. Let's get a couple of them. One of my favorites. Let's go to 5. And we're going to end with that.
It's Hebrews 11 verse 5.
Yeah.
By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because the Lord our power had translated him.
Yep. Beamed him up. You know, in other words, when you hear about someone being beamed up or abductions, yeah. And what's the key word there? By faith, man. Yeah. And you can read 6:2.
For before his translation, he had his testimony that he pleased the Lord our power.
Yeah, the testimony, brothers, we got some something. So I don't want to cheapen them, because how the Most High be looking at them. You understand? You understand?
Yeah.
We see carnally, but the Most High be seeing spiritually in this life, and your brothers are other lives. I don't know who you are. Other brothers are. I'm somebody we all want to be, but he be seeing what we be. What you know. Read that again, Baba Kusha, that point we just said there. Yeah.
Hebrews 11 verse 5. By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because the Lord our power had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony.
That testimony, right?
Yeah.
What your journey, what you suffered. No one can't take that away from you. You understand?
Yeah.
Go on.
Verse 11, Hebrews 11 verse 6 now.
Yeah.
But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
Right. See, that's the example of faith. So we've got a couple more. Let's read 22 and then 24, and then we're gonna end off with some more.
22, yeah?
Yeah. 22, 24.
22. Hebrews 11 verse 22. By faith Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel, and gave commandment concerning his bones.
Yep. See, 24.
By faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
All right, that's their testimony, man. That's their testimony. 20. We could close with this, and brothers can say their final comments. If you've got any. 32 and then finish off with these verses, Baba Kusha.
32.
Yeah.
Hebrews 11 verse 32. And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell Gideon.
When he says that, right, I'm trying to see what he was thinking. There's too many things, man. Too many things that time would be failing, man. All the things that Akim went through, which are us coming back. Yeah, what shall I more say, for the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, all the things Gideon went through. Carry on.
And of Barak.
Yep.
And of...
So when you hear about Barak, when you got, you know what I mean? When you, what did he go through, bro? We don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? Gideon, we hear about Gideon, but you see, that you might say Barak is a minor prophet, but everything's gonna be revealed. Carry on.
And of Samson.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's a more upfront with
Of course
what
he
he's
is.
known for. Yeah.
and of Jephthah,
Yeah.
of David also.
Well, you know about David, but there's something we yet gonna find out too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, go on.
And Samuel
Yeah,
and the prophets.
yeah. And one more.
Who through faith subdued kingdoms. Hey, wrought righteousness.
Yeah.
Obtained promises. Stopped the mouths of lions.
So if you like, if you like an action-packed movie, you know, sometimes you ain't got you can't watch no movies. You can read read them scriptures and visualize that. You know what I'm saying? I'm into the action-packs and all of that. You know what I mean? I just go over that in my mind and reflect on that. Like I say, to come up with the idea to this video, it was given me by the Spirit, man. You know what I mean? Prophecy, Trump's reckless abandon.
Yeah.
And the most he wouldn't let me forget it. Because when I thought I forgot it, I went back to sleep again. He drummed it back into my head again. Trump reckless abandon.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to be talking about today in the spirit. I'm not saying that happens all the time, but sometimes when you need an idea to do a video, Trump's going to give you a lot. Trump's definitely going to give you a lot. It's mainly going to be about a lot of prophecy. And brothers have been pushing where, you know, it's about prophecy at this moment in time. We're near the end, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anybody got any final comments? And then you can close out. Yeah.
All right then. You got something, brothers?
No.
Yeah. So as we know, we keep on prophesying that we're the end. Yeah. And people might be, you know, scoffers might say, yeah, we talk about the end. No, we are at the end of the end of the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So now is the time to draw nigh to the Lord, because the closer you draw to the Lord, He will draw close nigh unto you. All right. So we are in very dangerous times now. But as I said, you know, we hope and pray that we have the elect. That's what we say in humbleness, the hopeful elect. All right, because we want to seek the Lord. That's why this is the time. Seek the Lord now, while He may be found. All right. So I hope and pray that this is edifying with the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shem Ashai. So with that, we give all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh.
and we say double honors to our apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom, yeah? Shalom.